Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode in Jurassic World Evolution. I know it has been a little bit since I've done a Jurassic World Evolution video, but here we are. And we're actually doing the sequel to the novel challenge, which is the Lost World novel challenge, and it's based on Michael Crichton's novel, The Lost World, which was a sequel to the novel Jurassic Park, which the movies were based on. And we're going to do our best in the Sandbox Isla Nublar map to recreate the novel island and all that it entails. So I've went ahead and deforested everything. I have flattened everything out using water and then filled it back in. However, there is some land modification we need to do. So I have in front of me a map from the novel itself of Isla Nublar's island, which incidentally looks similar to Isla Sorna. So what we're going to do is start probably up near where the monorail comes in, right here, and that will probably be the site for the worker village and then the laboratory, and we can make the cliff there. Now the thing about that is this cliff is higher than everywhere else, so we kind of have to lower the land down just a bit. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we can do. So we do have the lower tool, and this is on a cliff, so we kind of want to make it look like a cliff. So I'm going to go ahead and just sort of give a little outline of where the cliff needs to be. And then we need to flatten everything else around us, which is going to be a bit of a chore. And in case you haven't noticed already, this will be a video heavy in really just building the park itself, or the island itself basically. So what we want to do is get it nice and sort of cliff-like. That needs to be a little bit higher. And then from there, what I think we can do is just flatten from this point, and it should, I believe, work a little bit easier than just doing this for hours at a time. So that's what we want to do, is make a nice big cliff right here. And that will be the sheer cliff where the trailer's at, and then we have roads going other ways here. From there, the Rex nest is over in this general direction. So, and it won't be perfect because this is a Jurassic World Evolution, and it is not a cut and copy paste of the book version, so we will get it as close as possible as we can. So let's go ahead and get this a little bit as low as we can. Alright, come on here. And let me see if I can sort of... If I take flatten and go from here over, will that lower it for me? No, it does not. Okay. So, Okay. Let's see. Because all this is the valley, so this needs to be lowered, and this needs to be lowered here. Well, sort of. It's lowered, but this is a sheer cliff, so I'm thinking that it definitely, yeah, it does need to be okay. So let's flatten this a little space, and I have another trick that might work. If we flatten out enough of a space here, we might can use our little water trick like we did to begin with. So let's see. So if I go ahead and flatten that out, and then get some water, and put water in the bottom. There we go, that'll work. And then we'll modify the cliff from here and see how this does. Yep, I think that'll be better. Save us a little time, actually, than just having to sit and constantly do that for, who knows how long. Okay. Down this way, all the way down. This whole area needs to be a little bit lower. Just a little bit, and we'll smooth it out. Like I said, work in progress. What'll really be fun is when we get the dinosaurs in, and we're only using species from the second novel, the ones that we have in the game at least. Which I will admit, we don't have every single one of them, but we do have a good majority of them. I would love to have Procompsognathus or Compsognathus from the movies, or even perhaps I would love to have Dryosaurs or Hyplosaurodons, which they did make an appearance in the novel, but we're not sure exactly if it's Hyplosaurodon or Othnalia or Dryosaurus, which is probably Dryosaurus being how big they are, because Othnalia is kind of small. So, anyway, if you haven't read the book, it is fantastic. Okay, let's go ahead and sort of try to work as much as we can. Now, the island itself had a rock cliff around it, so we can make these raised portions look kind of like a cliff. And then we'll smooth out this area and sort of make it a little bit lower if we can. So let me go ahead and get this all squared away. Alright, and then what we do is we come in, and this is not my trick actually, I got it from somebody else, but I can't remember who it was, who was doing a Jurassic World Evolution video, and it saves so much time flattening out things. So I don't remember who exactly it was, but it is not my original idea. Okay. And we will have to have a river. Now I will pause throughout this to reference the map. I'm going to see if I can put it up on the screen. I may not be able to. We'll see. But in any case, it is in the front of the novel. Alright. Okay, so that's a little bit lower. If we look at the mountain, it's not low, but it's certainly enough to give us what we need, and we'll sort of ridge this down just a little bit more. Give it that overall look of a sheer cliff. And this area here kind of smooths out a little bit along the game trail, so we'll get to that in just a sec. Okay, so let's take a look and see what it looks like. Well, this portion's a little raised. A little bit raised. I need to lower that a little bit more, but then the rest of it would have to be lowered. So it looks okay. Let me sort of work on it just a tad bit more in this area, just to get it down far enough to where it's doesn't look just like a carved crater straight through the earth. Let's see, move it around a little bit here. Let's see, lower it down just a little. See how we can do, sort of flatten this out. Now we need to smooth it just a bit, because it did get a little bit bumpy along the way. Okay. That looks, I mean, it's the best we could probably do in this game, but it looks alright. So let's go ahead, and I want to go ahead and turn off, let's see, sandbox settings. We don't want any disease for the purposes of what we're doing. We'll get some light rain. That way, we'll leave the time of day for now. Let's see. We won't worry about escapes or outages, that sort of thing. Let's see. Let's actually get rid of the... Where was it? Dinosaur habitat requirements and their population requirements and their social. That way we don't have too much trouble with them while we're doing it. Okay, so now we can take the new and improved paintbrush tool, and we can make this look exactly like a rock face. I must say, the tools definitely help in making the game, I'm not going to say more fun, but it allows you to do a lot more with it. That's basically the gist of it. A lot more that you can do. So put the rock along here. And the cliff face kind of evens out right here, so this is probably where the cliff face will end, and then we need to smooth this out just a bit, because this is a road. Well, not a road, it's a game trail that comes down through here. Okay, what was I looking for? Let's do a little bit more rock. And then on these upraised portions that were around here, one sec. There we go. this will also turn to the rock. That way it looks more like the rock face of the crater. And we don't have to worry about ruining the aesthetic that we're trying to do. There we go. See, trying to get it through here. Okay, and I think we can do it a little bit through here. I don't know how much we can because it is a little bit out of the boundary, but I think we'll be okay. Yeah, we'll do it like that. Sort of give it a light tinge around the outside. There we go. Okie doke. So I'm going to take a look at the map here. And let's see. So we do have a river that's running through the valley. And then we have our cliff, the wreck's nest. The river branches out into 3 places. So let's work on the river next before we do anything else. So the river, I'm actually going to go not so big, I think. So it branches into 3 places down here. Now this lets out, because of course this is all a little bit smushed, so it's not going to be exactly right, but we're going to do this here. So the river itself starts out sort of in the north, travels down through the valley, and we actually need to do this. I need to work it a little bit because there's a little bit of land and it goes this way. So let's go ahead and shape this up just a bit. Where the velociraptors, and the scene where they were observing the animals from the high height, the raptors came across the river. So we're going to do that. And it splits into 3 places. And we'll sort of do it like, let's see if we can sort of fix this a little bit. Sure it up just a bit more. Okay, that's not perfect, but it splits into 3. So there we go. Okay, so now let me reference the map again just to make sure we're getting as close as possible. So we've worked on the cliffs. Now there is another cliff sort of this way. It's the ridge road, so we may need to sink this road down just a smidgen, and that will lead to the wreck's nest. So then we can start working on the foliage and then the worker village and see how we go there. So I'm thinking in this episode we'll primarily get the aesthetics done and then we'll start building in the next one. So let's go ahead and get some more of the mountains, and we need to lower this again just to make a good sized road. Because the wreck's nest, that's a good question. Where is the wreck's nest? Would be over here, which means this might need to end. Well, let's see. Let's carve this out just to get enough of a road. See if that helps any. Actually, I tell you what. We won't make the second cliffside because then that will cause a little bit of a problem, I think, with the rest of the how we've done it and the limitations of the map. So we'll go ahead and do this. But the wreck's nest isn't actually that far from the worker village and stuff like that. Okay. So let's work on the valley a little bit. We do know that there is some trees sort of at this intersection here. Sort of do it like this, and then I know there's trees along this side of the river, and there's a lot of grassland as well along this side. So the top of the river we're going to cover pretty well in the foliage. Okay. Now, the valley itself is mainly open, but there's a lot of trees sort of along the rim of the valley. So we'll go ahead and do that. Alright. And now we need some grassland. And this whole area here is grassland. Go ahead and put that down. And I will say, guys, I am not an artist by no means, whether on any platform, so this may not look as good and may not be 100% like the map, but we're getting it as close as possible within the limitations. So yeah, I'm just going to say I'm not an artist. Nope, I did not get those genes. That was not me. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pull the grassland down. And this was primarily, I think it had some trees, but I need to lower the size so that we can get some trees sort of like on the land portions that go. There we go. Sort of cover this up a little, because there's supposed to be caves that these waterways lead to. Let's see, and then this is right here. Now this is would be the ridge road, so what we need to do is just sort of, the Rex nest would probably be around this way, I'd imagine, and then this was the worker village. So I need to actually clear this a little bit, and this a little bit, because that leads to where we need to go. So, and the high hide would have been somewhere around in here. So we'll go ahead and do a little bit more trees, just to get it the way we want it. Okie doke. Alright, you guys, so that is the first episode. We have successfully built, as best as we can, the general layout of the island, and in the next episode we will begin working on actually putting in the building. So I hope you have enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next coming episodes. Bye, guys!